3. Issue binding directives, implement compliance mechanisms, and intervene directly in underperforming entities. 4. Commission independent audits to identify inefficiencies and financial leakages. And 5. Set and monitor performance metrics with tangible consequences for non-performance. Loss-making SOEs will no longer be tolerated. They will be swiftly reformed, they will be merged, privatized, or shut down. Corruption, procurement fraud, and financial mismanagement will be prosecuted strictly, and boards that rubber stamp poor decisions will be replaced. The practice also of, in a few cases, using entity resources and funds to indemnify board members from accountability.
Yamajo ene enyumrei eba Kessben television so assign ebeko Kessben radio at the appropriate time. We a democracy jumedi ene enyumrei yatnasia yebedi ehun enkomo na yedi ehun ejumedi free samra kopem se non kron ebebo ene enyumrei omai Ghana mu ensem ene yatnasia yebebubu hu na yedi ehun enkomo ama moa mohweyen na moa mobeti yen so motimi ehuni a ekoso ewo mem Ghana ma enei de abetodwa yebeka ho ensem no kese na efa eye budget a yame emma the finance yame yadoma finance minister eride nano ebenada yebeka ho ensem aka ne yebe modern na yadomu esuko na yahwe key factors key issues ya ewom yani the President John Dramani Mahama naban enso ede aba woka se obeye aboa amagana etimi etu mpon ena nwumre ebehwe ho nsem na yedi ho komo titru efa the economy especially education for SHS ene ehun enkron but a big push as the president said a 24-hour economy eno ehun ensensem enyina ebepiem. And so, anafi ya bomodeni ya the women banking sector, and also honsem ebipim ewoha. Na afi ya a range of other issues and anope and you so yebedi and enkomo ewoha. Na and some ba you after the presentation, the minority in parliament at the one observations and reservations about the presentation of the budget statement eba bonting. Na ade ba kwa no mu gina so a omo Canada dendenden pa eye nei aban e woso yi kyerese MPP aban eko na economy no waye no buruburu kyerese wabubu no bubu ni dompem nyina nei economy na sei atete apansam na no enom se da bi nsem ya anei aban a woso yi eken wo de tunsani ni na sebi uwe a entrasum ni nyina ne se and the economy, no, according to Ghana Statistics Service, grew by 5.7%. Inti omuhu senti economy economy by 5.7%. Now, and they ababe take the reins of government. Say the previous government, immediate past government, egbubu economy na aseno eja kasusuru ena ode ato omai eho. Sabre ka say Ghana car ye diem o de ba yen Ghana sikema 721 billion Ghana cedis. So o de NDC for 7 billion no eka ho na che say 728 billion Ghana cedis in Ghana a car ye die o de ba dollar terms about $46 million ena Ghana a die. Na sabre yakase ye den eni yakoka no because de bia eka adayanim ya hwe na kyese ohwe Ghana esika yenya no na ohamu nchemu eduoson na yedi etuaka na the whole Ghana ye depend on just about 28% of a year enema wone yebenya daje na yewura sansen mu na yedi ehun enkomo ewo dwumadie eso enye honko yebe modern na afi yahwe the sacking or relief of position of the immediate past Inspector General of Police, Dr. George Ekufu Dampare, ono ho ensem enso ewo ha. Sabere ka sei, omampani abo eye COP Christian Tete Yehunu se ono ena omra na ombeye IGP. Na obodi no uko police headquarters ewo nkran na nyasem kuma womo a ye tusika egu papa so ha ye de na aba no enei the ehwe say it looks like politics has entered every facet of our national fabric. Inti enei ye behwe eho ensem na ye di eho adwuma ewo dwumadi so nye honko. There are the range of other issues ewo ho no ma na ye kasa yi ebeto dwa say Reverend Kusi Boateng NI4 abefano ene ori abeto dwa se ebia ne ghost eno mbecho no de wote ho no a wo bonu djuma den aba beto dwa se yemfa yen ahode no dodo na enkohye your education mu ne yenhwe ne ntimi mu amamfo ntimi enya nwomesua etimi abo ma Ghana etimi etumpon eno eho ensem enso we need a range of others ene anop enyumre yebetrase na yedi eho enkomo medin ede Kwabena Owusu Dankwa nyame eye adoma ene menya yenra nedin ede Joseph Amwa ono eye senior member ede ma movement of change ono ebeba sanso ena Professor Smart Sapon or director research innovation and development or Kumasi secondary Kumasi Technical University ono so ebepiem ewa sanso ena Mia Minua Jerry James Suka Papa J ono so ko for Krom constituency on a communication officer ka communication team and the National Democratic Congress eho ewa santimantem ha ono so epiem sanso ena ya benya Alhaji Ishak Chei Brobe ono a lecturer Kumasi Technical University and a member of the New Patriotic Party ono so ebeba na afi yedijuma. So wo message at appropriate time the line no ebetudwa na wasend messages e de afaso na yakenkan e de bayansha from the budget statement into the finance minister Dr. Kessel Atoba Forsen wamra okujina mrashaje efia 2025 budget no o presenting ema Ghana for say enei de ye prepare ye de be Ghana ho akoma eni yentie the finance minister.
That road tolls on public roads. Mr. Speaker, Ghanaians, and this honorable House will recall that road tolls on public roads were zero rated in the year 2022. Demand for construction and improvement of road infrastructure continues to increase, even as substantial arrests and claims in the road sector remains. Right, Honorable Speaker, while the annual average collection from road tolls have not been significant compared to its potential, the existing zero-rated policy for road tolls has increased the situation and dimmed the prospect of raising enough revenue from tolls to road construction and maintenance. Accordingly, government will work with the stakeholders, including the private sector, to roll out a technology-driven solution to reintroduce road tolls this year as part of the big push. Mr. Speaker, Ghanaians.
Finance Minister Dr. Kessel Atoba Forsen and Otise Ode Ene Oman Sikasama Ene Washeshe say Yadebebo my Ghana ho Ebrano or the Ebai or Kansama Hodo Free Teachers and say Betrum or the Abetuja say Amobia buying or the buy and crown face Carodosa and fashion 3.5 billion Ghana cedis and the share free SHS emu sounds na big push oka ho ensem women's banking oka ho ensem oka Mahama care or moka ho sem 24-hour economy nyina no oka ho sem yanko the minority ho den nsem ne betu dwa no minority led by the former finance minister Dr. Amin Adam on also at the ensem etudwa for budget no.
Through the 2025 budget statement, churn out fiscal deficit on commitment basis of 7.6% of GDP and a primary deficit of 3.6% of GDP. This would imply, if you look at them on their face value, that the MPP administration mismanaged the fiscals in accord with the intentions of the NDC government. In fact, an economy with such strong revenue performance and expenditure controls, as we have seen from the data the minister presented, cannot produce the kind of elevated fiscal outcomes the minister announced. We see a lot of contradictions there. And this, we are very confident, will be exposed. The government, through the...
We are the former finance minister, Dr. Amin Adams. We are economy no sense no and omo the response by Dr. Gideon Boakun on also the New Patriotic Party home or the Betudra say the National Democratic Congress say omo the money chim no masanko bonds market no na oka say omo entry cautiously because it's not an advisable state par omo teki na o say abayin ebetna akonya so busumi ni no amabo besia to the tune of 7 billion Ghana cedis. Yankoninti Dr. Gideon Boakun and Sama or the Etubia.
So the fact that the T-bill market that is offering lower rate is oversubscribed indicates that the Bank of Ghana is reneging on its responsibility to mop up the excess liquidity and subordinating that monetary policy arrangement to fiscal policy by the finance minister. And that is an arrangement this government has done. All because they want to tell the public that there's oversubscription and that there's confidence in the economy. No rational investor will do this. That is why we think that they have to really stop this and let the market take its own shape. Other than that, the consequence for the economy going forward will not be good for us. And so this is what has to be done. And if you look at the T-bill market, the minister says, oh, they oversubscribe and they are borrowing less. Let's ask the minister. Every time they go to the T-bill market, they accept offers more than their target. They accept offers more than their target. If you take every week, what target they went to the market, they accept more offers more than the target. That should tell you something fundamentally wrong. And the minister says they want to open the bond market for the yield curve at the long end to have a lot of purchases. Everybody will move to the short end because they don't have confidence that going forward the economy will assume the same trend as it is going. So they won't go to the long end. They will stay at the short end. And the minister is using the rates to entice them. Mind you, in Ghana we practice the Dutch auction. You cannot control price and quantity on the market. The finance minister is artificially manipulating the system and controlling price and quantity. He determines how much price he wants to give and he determines how much he wants to buy. And the Bank of Ghana is reneging on the monetary policy arrangement to go to the open market. And so when people go to the table market, open market, Bank of Ghana is not there. Even if Bank of Ghana is there, it is accepting less. And they have the money. Investors are pushing them. Go and buy bills for us. So they all have to go to the table. And that is what is forcing the rates now. It is not supported by the economic fundamentals. And we think, and even before I conclude, Minister drew my attention to something. They complain about borrowing. And Atuforsen said government has about 153 billion cedis in terms of interest payments on domestic markets to pay. That is why he says President Akufo-Addo has left with for him. And he's going to pay about 70 billion next year and the others 50-something billion the following year. If Akufo-Addo in 8 years has left you 153 billion as interest payments on the domestic market to pay, and in 2 months, you have borrowed 73 billion cedis from the domestic market. You say Akufo-Addo left you 153 billion in 8 years, but in 2 months.
Right. So that is Dr. Gideon Boakun and our tenant. So in 2 months, it's 73 billion Ghana cedis. 73 billion. To the cost 721 billion Ghana cedis. Not just a nay yenam 794 goodness 94 billion Ghana cedis yakoye nim Ghana for you. Mianko the president Enra and also in the new Inspector General of Police COP Christian Tete Yohono. Now can some who do be to so oba corruption free police service for modernity for innovations emra police service no emu na omwama community policing enkoso. The question you're asking is na former IGP no na corruption woman. Well, let's listen to the president and what he said when he was swearing in the new IGP.
And integrity. Additionally, we must build a service that is respected both locally and internationally for its professionalism and integrity. Additionally, I want to emphasize the importance of improving the welfare of officers under your command. Policing is a very demanding profession that requires sacrifice and dedication. Our officers must be well remunerated, adequately housed, and given access to proper health care and psychological support. A motivated police force is a productive police force. Let me take this opportunity to also extend my deepest gratitude to the outgoing Inspector General of Police. He has served our nation with dedication and commitment, and his contribution to law enforcement and national security will not be forgotten. We thank him for his service and we wish him well in his future endeavors. To the brave men and women of the Ghana Police Service, I urge you to give your fullest cooperation to your new leader. You are the backbone.
Right, so that is the President of the Republic of Ghana, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Yanko, the new IGP, no so no response after he was sworn in. I
approach this responsibility with the utmost seriousness, fully recognizing the weight of expectations accompanying this role. In alignment with the transformation and modernization of the service, I pledge to uphold the values, traditions, and culture of the Ghana Police Service, consistent with the resetting agenda of Your Excellency the President. In this regard, the guiding principles will include discipline and respect for seniority within the hierarchy structure of the service. So I assure you, Your Excellency, that professionalism, transparency, accountability, and fairness shall underpin my administration and focus on renewing attitudes and performance, thereby positioning the service to meet the aspirations of our people and foster peace and security in our country. So let me reaffirm a fundamental truth. Policing is a shared and collective responsibility. Consequently, community engagement and community policing and partnership will be an essential strategy for communities to participate in crime prevention and fighting. I take this opportunity to express my heartfelt gratitude to my family, colleagues, and loved ones for supporting me throughout my journey. Your guidance and trust have been instrumental in shaping me into the...
So we the new IGP, we COP, IGP Christian Tete Yono. Na in Sembeto Jai Boni Dean Kohe Police Headquarters and Yasen Kuma, one more Wano, Omom Pejano, Omogen Yom Tuska, Edi Eguno so. Na nei IGP Dampare amafo bi kan se mebre na de afa no ne ka say lawyer Atachia former MP ono so de ensem de afa akansam afa aye Dampare se papa nanim ena sabiu o kire nipa se sabi oye nipa na wonyenyenyenyenyenye we ensem a nyam na meka eno eye ensem a Atachia de etudwan ne ka say Martin Pebu enso akansem de afa no se olobi ma ne boro so nti ma ekoye se harassment se na opesen kotena ho na nko serve two different administrations from two different parties, but it never materialized. I'm for be reading meanings into it. Ya bona baso wo dwumadi a wodi bebre ho e de aboa e ma Ghana dwumadi akoso na mmom election no after the elections I'm for kan sama hudu bebre e na fa papa yi ho. And I for her, I won't take the wind out of the sail. Men koda mama kwaba. Now we delve deeper into the issues and ne enyumri yadi egu apaso. Professor Smart Sapon. Prof, good evening.
Yes.
Yes, no munti.
Adom, the day has ended by the grace of God.
To me, the anonymous, yes,
oh, and then there's someone we need to acquire him lady.
They call Dr. Kwatin for crew.
Yes.
Ne mami ewe eyi.
Yes, the honor made me do it. And to me, free one to moi, dear boy.
Mama, Jerry James Suka Akwaba. Jerry?
Good
evening.
Good evening.
How are you?
Nyankopon Adom. Yahoye. In fact, Bijis also who
Adom is no pa.
Was from Mana, Bonnie and from a papa. By papa ba inti who say I want them who ye ba. In fact, for you can constituency for share by me for Aquena Menchiomo. And viewers central region papa maybe almost frame me a jar coffee mensa and in the bush for most of my jabra almost shake here and for you now so that's
right. Ora Joseph Amwa there's an empty device in TV.
Always device. For some time, not many. I'm traveling around the country. Because we are home,
nice one.
Developments over.
Yeah, developments.
Very fast.
Very fast.
Western region. Very fast. Industries.
Yeah.
Unto quite on himself, but because Ghana,
yeah, cry if you cry, no, we can attest to the fast change in well known area for the past, if I say, less than 15 years.
A different
very different crowd.
A different crowd because I'm called Archie. Now I'm called Farnham.
And how you need?
I was so happy. Now we boot and I said, oh, prof.
See, you know, Joseph Amwa, senior member movement for change. You're trying to say, Alaji Ishachi Brobi Ebeba. Now, Wabeka sa na yedi jumedi no amana yefe. So, you shall say with the budget, any and Prof, my say everyone now.
Okay.
Especially with the economy and that kind of, should I say, banter between the outgoing administration and then the present administration. One year, just got to August service about thing say grow by 5.7%. And then most year, most engine grown a year, most grown by 4%. So acquire engineer show honum. Yes, from now, but you can look at the whole budget in general.
Right. Medawa Sibio, Minia, no much I was for a Jimre Shayen. Yama will be a joke, be a Shayen free pia. I was a Fonso Mushroom, Mubusia for and a Beja Mo, Yamamunina Yako. In fact, we've been through it before we know what it means to lose a mother. Ebi no more lose you more for ahodo bebre ene baby bia obia eja ne dofo bi kwan bia ya mamo ya kese pa awade na nkasa encheche modre budget responsibility finance minister no carrying it out very well but representative Mampeni John Dramani Mahama ni sikasem ho to ye enne ni so ade hunu government policies bia eba beba ni ade atu ye nyina ye nim before all Babaya presentation, no, say oko markets, any phone we could did in common a day. A be away dear, it was too late a time. A short time or the current time of kind budget and no budget statement I read that.
Because also, friends say, cabinet adjourned to me and
Sakran or and you know, politically, I felt say it was going to be a smart idea next time. We the fans are late, but it's a good signal. Unse Atuforsen is an active politician. In fact, the first in many years.
Okay.
After days of Mafunom, this is in the past 20 years. This is the most an active, very active politician occupying the place of finance minister. Osha na me of a Kwabena for new politician. Osha na me of a Setepe nomne adinumunya politicians. It's a Ken of Uriata no, they were just professionals now. No wonder. Otimi ye sane mani ye na enya space for the budget more. The budget will reflect the people. Mekai brebi etwem na me ye budget monitoring workshops at the media stations be on cry, including multimedia sets in Nina. And we took our time to see how to monitor a budget.
Okay.
In fact, budget ni we do baby I see the people's budget. The people's budget in say me Subi and I say Kumase, whatever, wherever you are in your locality. So our budget here by how which part of it concerns me.
Oh, what kind of maybe a woman
and you know, I'm a copy of the appropriation. I'm sure very soon I will get. Usually I do get for budget analysis. We will see what is in it sectorially. We will see what is in it district by district, locality near the. But the general overview of any demand, so for example, Minya Elder Ibrahim Ahmed Banda Neho local government, which was clearly BB Konohonum for district assembly
payment of
assembly members. Near me decry Konohonum media appointed no. Okay, commenter me make it no one. Me or no sin China, me can say Parliament or no one. Not the most fierce criticism. I say, no capacity about a tremuno. A choir now by any first one, all my common fund MCO district assembly for the home. Say, I buy a tremuno to me retaining up to over 50%. I won't cry. It determine what must go to the districts. I felt it was bad, and he was the one of the leading critics of Sanye Manu and Kosun. And he appointed to local government. I felt it was an excellent appointment. Come and implement Nianawo or criticizing. In this budget, Osha, the assurance are free of any to force Hoba, and they say, Anko cried and then 80%. Of the allocated Nebuchadnezzar still now they can't afford to give the district assemblies 100%. I don't understand. District assemblies common fund.
Give it to them. Give it to them.
But they still can't afford. But I mean 80% will be better than 50% comparatively. But minim seminia Ahmed Ibrahim Bebwa ema 80% nyina mpako na yeko enim no nka yendu baby 100% nyina beko. Sabi adwena tinkan adwena ni bia nete Mikrom or Secropon. Ajuni be any one can different from Ajuni that.
They will have known better.
A comedy be a crazy or begro. That's your bed, and also begro. Ah, ni papa sika ni mami sika ni sika ufede we ba no betu no egu no so no betu ni fu we ba no betu ni fu say efutu fo no buy for the 15th futu ni no say ah I don't know mo kasa nyina it appears say mo ni mesen me o just say
me na dem ho they met me ayo. Okay,
so when we will get there, and I always said they get there to the local government ministry clearly. And so two major a political promise, and about consider the right thing. You see a decentralization there. Sending in one more. The right thing back and a political promise back assembly members. Let's see how it goes. Total number of assembly members plus appointees near day. Would they divide them monthly per the money allocated? Problem kakra ho but if na proper ye neighbor. I'm sure say you shall say do baby. The second area and so I first say it was so clear in the general report. Yes, Women's Bank. The Chessica be the Atohonum at the Mahomo. And also know the argument I cost will crum and say 50 million dear. Yes, in fact, okay, NBSSI, National Board for Small the Industry, that's a visa. Remember COVID by Nechino, a buying a chess can be the moment. Budget, say budget 2020, say budget 2021, no more baby. Similar discussion by. Ni pass our brand no more register so more per more from by ho. Now in excess of 800,000 people. A bicycle will try was our budget in the mo. Now I think 600 million as a 60 million bisa. So that was essential. It was not going to be sufficient to all those who applied. Way 50 million. Women's Bank, you need more opportunity to pass more apply or apply. And as to whether 50 million be so man na so mo. Obekwa kwhwem na say ya akodan to say Bosian kitten be 900 Ghana cedi, 500 Ghana cedi, then Ghana cedi. Ha. Okay. Mesre, when the full document comes, we will speak to it proper. But 50 million, first of all, like a man for Akano, it doesn't represent Women's Bank. But they mean something else. The caption, no, a Women's Bank. A banning who details, na a beshe, but a foot to a medem man say 50 million, a woefully inadequate. A banner sape, ye co targeting. Ye share one no more, who discard no more, who turn around time, a very fast. Netimia grow fund no. Yes, I na the command keke. Chichewi na skakesi bi anko bi sem sika nkra kwekese kra hwa ekokra wonte ho ma bio. So that is also a point to note. In fact, a lot of areas, friends, and one district agenda 111 nom. Then the issues now real issues. You see, Yenyeska and agenda 111, and so Yenyeska there other things are questions prioritization. And in Nema. In fact, one thing that you budget for me is a negative picture, and it's a prioritization. No, the fabe no, and for example, taxes beer ye so during the campaign time. A bill no more we year in so be brave or man for so. I think that the choice of betting tax. I mean, say say me bring any Japan. It is fun. But if betting tax have found space and omo you really view omo from Saadenoa, then we should have also as well find space for near Yakacha and say in so ni kania board the bosumi means be yen strain mu say because how do you reconcile the two? Okay. A mudra a waiter water bill, light bill, petrol, transportation, so no. It impacts almost every aspect of the economy as compared to betting adi. Now, our betting tax in the crowd, the minimum Kofi Adams. I feel pity for him. I feel, sir, in this budget, only the most affected ministry. Okay. Because youth, has been decoupled from the honor, and the youth has been resourced. Youth empowerment has been adequately resourced that. Training near there by me, just a budget allocation here enough to. But check sports. And a bet and then so and can cut directly into a so sports and so year free. So going forward, I can see two ministries going to suffer, not suffer in too much of a negative term, but the needed resource and support from this budget. Those ministries near sports. And second ministry, trade and industry, and that is even where it makes matters quite worse, because trade and industry, we know its impact on your data economy. Now, port for anti duty for anti now betting for any agenda. How do you reconcile this? Like so, I still also admit say we in the first budget 4 or 3 more budgets will come in the next 4 years. Ebia koye kanjebi. Ebia the next budget in the bar. You be some of these things. But young can see here na finance minister menu ato force in fan can the books no. No hwe kwan be fa so a ye koye nimu no. Interventions ni reliefs na beba no ebe ye nia e wo the required impact. Na enye nia kakra bi for any budget na fe eba be affect ye nyina time aso for budget okay no ma menka we infant ma menka we infant to aya na edu ba bi a ye highlight yaka na otie voice na na ka say in 2 months e ka be ka ho ni kana ka ni nyini ko nanim no because of baby a wonu mu gya ho no gya ho isi how the 79 billion ne koka 722 ni ho a ye ko yanim nti mesrese ye ka aya ye very careful minim, but I heard on elsewhere in Panikra can also na we can ha and we that say state owned enterprises need through ECG nom cocoa board nom then nom ni ade ye be fair to yes ye ho with the exception of Electricity Company of Ghana, as at handing over 2016-2017, na omu declare profit. Almost all state-owned enterprises were in losses. And the losses no differentiate can account for the reason why economy.
So the president met them or share CEOs of the state-owned enterprises or the if you don't perform,
yes,
it's either we privatize it, we merge you, or we
scrap you entirely. Yes. And that for me was a good call. Nama stresse enye de bia na se be business as usual. State-owned enterprises need new CEOs aba. Don't come and excite us with oja meka say ena no abon ena no aye say. Start the work. Me bebia me the director. In fact, openi ni de adwuma na ehye me nsa no. Oka kire me say anka ogu no. Now they saw me actually. I'm going to be the last director. Okay, me playing in my face. Because before I came, now just say, the stress on the university was just too much, and the VC felt at that time say, or scrap it. And it is one of the eyes of the university. Ubia pese oba hobe director when the opportunity comes. Ubia pese oba hobe HOD people affiliate with us. International, local, baby. Inti yedija wa near the aswao. Let us not come and Ghana and Kwan ye can't a car idea, ye can't be a candy and need JBK. We don't even feel shy announcing the debt people that we owe. As if say jama and inflation then ye baby based on a buy or tea equinasui. Inflation focus to see over 10 years a buy or chair no beka. You see, we as a Trevanium was what is that? State-owned enterprises needed through
Thank you very much. My member Jerry na Jerry on the budgets. Na afi minti and sama Jerry su abeka ade afa budget no issues ahodo bebre and about especially with the economic aspect. I want to show no do na ewo mo bo aban wotwem so bo se yeti ewo sona say omampani say the economy is not good. It's not good at all. The finance minister ebaye obesi say economy no asay atrape ene hono kroneba eno ema the minority in parliament ababontin especially led by the former finance minister Edibetu as economy amusia say no idea as a kuku figures and I'm person to tarnish the image of the past government. I mean too. But my member Alaji Shak Akaba. Alaji. Good evening. And but just on mic and madam. I like maintaining go.
Sir, maintaining. The woman is trendy and yes, when you be as over the annual cow fast.
Anyway.
Hey, put on.
No.
Wedi ma member abaso ewo dwumaso a eye ono production team abibia moye de bia ya ka se nya akwanya ne bia betena na no nche se nim de si wona omu hweye ya na akwanya na memfa nchi akese e ma Ashanti regional minister ebi mo frɛ no akwada nyame na edini de bebre abrantie dwumedi a wodi e wo Asantemante mu ha de meka se in fact ye hu bi da ye bekoso na ya hye nkran na ya ka che ne se wonkoso na ombo edwuma no e ma ye nim se for the first time Ashanti region is such like a sie eba aye Ashanti regional minister dwumedi a ke wodi wadaroma aye budget you sense me ye beka se o say budget ebra finance minister everyday budget we no me kai say met aye scripture bimpo apart from that me kai say ye to budget ni din senior minority aye some years back aye the MPP administration for mobile parliament don't be budget I din akese
so me tie leader so bi ona
leader so budget
there be mu dey ya me tie leader so budget
any dey ka yeah the budget dey ye nim say budget a e dey leader so ebre eye Ghana fo na say ye sheda atena se atu edin ni dey budget na no e na kasa ma ne ho wangasa ogitum say budget ya budget bia e ba beboa na edenema atutu ye ohwe bebia eye economy no bebia na atete apansan eduru say enema bi wo ho aye ka ya na enye say eye political eye expediency by a public document bebia Ghana eduru no any social media ho sensem no betimi aga say ansana baba betina ifidikese isukura ka bibi kura na Ghana for kura no through eye social media TikTok ni X omayomu investigation po ehun eye no kra e wa asem no ebo na enti sene MPP forces say economy no ekodruye na te say inflation enema bembeso enema bo ekosoro na ebi nsida na ohwe eye funda ye jatu ho esla ohwe eye contingency fund sika na dem sinking fund sa economic buffers ni na ye jatu ho any sika na wom Ghana fo etu aba MIs SNS John Dramani mama so nsam rebe be ko hwe sa foto edi ma eka na wo foto no dodo na yamu kewodi na je say eyade be public document or how na abeni na Ghana fo kom o hwe ye campaign a ye koye nsema edu tu dwani na no like I say be 99% ewo aye budget no na eno ni ade na Ghana fo ehwehwe ansa na yebekomu no ohun se enema no edoso untimi fiti prekope na dakope onkase ende ye hawo nyina ni yetumi de dakope ayeden asobe because him say Ghana hawo na yekom sisia no edoso senior eye protocol so because Rome was not built in a day no ye be ni nkaka ye sha say free baby na yakwa akowie because na eye bia eye na prof kase budget no uncover now I think it was Port and Harbour. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. This is the first budget, second, third, fourth. Enyama ebeko no kwanso. Keodi. Ohwe eye budget here. Make say your total your revenue na your pese revenue projected revenue 223 billion. And expenditure so 269. Now the projected expenditure now as compared to last year MPP administration now where say send ye say ye cut nema so because Ghana e kwa here mu nti we be here say ye betete nema so no exactly it has reflected in the budget enema bi wo ho a ye ntumi enyi free Ghana ye die mu ene ye ohwe education a senior ya womasua esitie budget no allocation for this sector ye promise Ghana for say ye free bibi no academic fee policy ye kwa campaign ye de tudwa so wo hwe ye mana abibi omoba tertiary institutions no wo hwe omododo na kakra bi na tumi nya akwanya na ye den ekọ tertiary institution because sa stress no odua kwa kope ebi ho kwa kope hostel ehun ko ne aba bebre enti ye de to Ghana fo enim say monto abama na ye ba a ye level 100 first year no ye be tua e sika no e de amamo na de aka no level 200 300 kopin se mo be wie no na mo age ye loan ni bi na mo tum di aiden e de ato mo school so budget no e allocation for that 499.8 million ye de ato wo se enkodi se adwumedi enye no nko asoso ye promise ye free sanitary pads and also ye allocation for that 292.4 million sanitary pads for the various the basic schools and the senior high schools. This invention ye shasem rebi ama MPP for the propaganda who sembebri.
But this time around, minimum that amount of money, looking at the number of girls they always school move, number of times go through that cycle in a term or a semester. Now is it sufficient? And I say and say ebia once be na bia akotwa e won say be ya kase be ntia and what's it going to be like?
Kewo di wadaroba. Senior medinka eka about budget no enema bi wo ho a yentumi nka say ye expect bibia say it should be included. Impenifo na bu ba bi say ufti prako pepa o say amoja na ede na eba ntia yenkaka say onua hawa o komu no utumi alleviate kakra bi mana at least say sika no obetumi ede kwakope wa ache bi anago ba bi ede edi enti nkaka wadaroma ana apart from that no won say get fund say ya on capo get fund no o hwe du media get fund edia eboa your kwan bebre so edrum bi MB before say o maka po ehun kwan ehun sem bebre na me adom sesia no sa capping no yeyi e de free ho ene sika in fact ye de akwa 3.5 billion and by on capping it to essentially now 4.1 billion e be boa o hwe free SHS o mo de buy free SHS eye de o mo de boarding school e be ka ho no atiase e buy no afi ekowie chiro musu ana MDC fo be wa betwe na manto aba ma Excellency John Dramani Mahama na wo muni eye dedicated source of eye funding na me adom ye de ba be hye eye get fund ho nti si a Ghana fo amagibra mu etie ye senior Excellency John Dramani Mahama e kan ye no eye free SHS it has come to stay si a wo hwe the allocation alone ya ma free SHS kra na omo no mo sie se omo na omo de free SHS no baaye ehun kwa nemba bebe no kra no sa allocation omo anya bida enti eye nema bebre kewodi me free ho no na me call eye youth employment because me ebebu no ebebu no edwuma e wo se ehun ehia me yi pa budget so eye special allocation of 300 million to a national apprenticeship program 300 million Ghana cedis to national apprenticeship program. Make us say a ade bia ye ni so embebru omuni age because o hwe wo mo a enye obia na wo pepa ne say so obekwa kwotena classroom obi wa wakọ school nanso edwuma na ndi woni nti obefi o pepa ne say won ko suansa no dwuma kakra and ye call run up to election 2024 ye tuja say na me ya adoma national apprenticeship program no wa wo pepa obi wie free SHS wo wo pepa ne say onko suansa no dwuma ya pe boa na ya mo akwa kosuedu ye de trinsa ebe ma aya wo master na wotumi akwa kosuedwuma no ye de saa aye nsemi na tu dwama Ghana fo ehwe so eto aba maaye enti ye maame nom ye papa nom ye nua nom ye ofa no bia wagibra wo hwe de nwumre the Excellency John Dramani Mahama kae no wodi ni na atudwa me wa sante mantem de na me ka se aye Keita market aye phase 2 and also a capture our budget name aye ekwan ahodo bia na aye MPP fo mo sha se o mo ntumi enbie no Excellency John Dramani Mahama aka waka no pembebere se project bia aban a etwemu no o sha se wo ya wontumi enbie no na me ya adoma ye ba ye behwe nyina aye nkakra kewodi ebebru no enigie aba yesi wenya bibia ma wase wa enye den yambo no kro no umma mbebru adwuma nyeye wo the betting tax aba be gu ye konso na
okay, maybe I have my reservations although maybe media to be frank let me put it this way and yet campaign am the year enti na my margin still am per se mu yi free ho and I say still you has a word that friends and there's that I don't want to use the word because it may sound insulting muhu say e was say mu yi free ho because there were a lot of negative implications especially on the youth. Most countries almost the sa taxes not to animals so restrict some of these people from getting into this betting as if
as a nation make us say senior workers countries be or more to so to deter them to make us a regressive tax to deter them from doing it and make us say the whole cano a bedroom pension so be a Ghana bedroom so our countries now work cano or more youth unemployment rates at the same what you say this year me no can say exactly into mebruno wo monye adwuma nye se se aye betting obi ehye that na them the whole day na wa hye onu so na adwuma wo ye no
me a little investigation around it especially omo asua adwuma no artisans no bit say carpentry bit say masonry bit say car auto spraying as for no okwa the complaints they make is that and then Bruno are not willing to learn sad trades no the opportunities are there but omusua enye sanime yana ammo because onim say konefon so obo 1 2 a obenye sika enti onkonkosua adwuma some of them too enam so aye niam bebre aye deviant when can say ebi akpaye nkwala boni ebi abaye akromfo ebi abaye addicted to say ebi ekura unhu se sanimo we kan bi na masanimo ya baso
kewe di wadarobra unhu se enema bi wo ho a say deviant ya be say the society should frown at it and in the way forward no enema bi say no say yetenase na ehwe say senior or many seek on Moya, you bet me a regulation around a year such a but not in the sense I didn't know ain't yamra. What you say? Because Bobum so she need them no she send the bet. Now we need the better. Now buy a because we need intermediate 10%. Also, say nipa no so ni skebia e de mano. And they say if you say a different idea be a more society na dey say e ba. I was saying tenase there should be a regulation around it. Now idea no ya abolish it. And the send that make no say unya edwuma bia mo a why do you tax them? What you say? And I promise Ghana for maybe say be ye free ho. Na me adom ewom. Apart from that, a year COVID-19 day and also sa COVID-19 and also wom e-levy. They chairman soon kra e-levy no. KOD, we no go into e-levy. Send your MPP for year pompous at the time. We share in share so a year MP. Sticker to me kase ye na ya ban woso. Mumpo e-levy ye be pass. Etwa ho cake ni na. At the time Ghana for just say yakwa unyehiemu. Now the only thing you could do at that time and they say what is such a regressive task ebe to Ghana for so unya kakra na so wo send there na yatew wo send kakra na yate say 2000 Ghana cedis mumu wallet mo a you betima to e-levy as many times obey your transaction and na a hard ye eti ma NDC yetena se kase dey bi ade we dey emmoa timo before no me no ka say everywhere ke wodi emmoa
on the correct decision pa
exactly enti me no tire nim say prof ede me be ya adwen say ebe boa me ofa isha got we obeka omno anga wa udin ka boy abaso dada say NDC for my ade say e-levy no matwem na woni me bi ke wodi say na NPP for ne bi ka say Moses Sikeni ho nanso eba ne sign na Moses yetwa e-levy mu yetwa emission levy ene de keka ho wadaroma say yewo bibi e friend no tax refund system bi a ewo GRA ho na dia say obi wo ho a otua eto a otumi etua ma no bro enti yana it is being assumed say nipa no obesa aba abegina de nti abibia ne ye budget 6% of the budget na dey aye den na e dey ato ho se onua ba so oba abegi a fan mu na mate dia ma no be na obi aso na ye oba oba den obi obegi enti ama ye from 6% ya teso aba ye 4% of the budget. This time, no guys say Sikano, and yes, Agikako, 4 billion. You bet to me, and no, and I had the taxes now, ye free honor, and a cover, Yenida. The kill you are man. I buy Papa Abba, Ama Hunto, Eba, Amagana for a Hunto, Eba Mamino. And then in Yama Boa, El Cosruni, now, no a car, the various state owned enterprise, Ebonina, Yenim say, the right people have been appointed. For the right offices. A brand new Druswa, Ghana Befan and Tomapa.
Thank you very much. We Jerry Suka and our team in Kano. Good governance, according to him, and Neman I justify all of them. Namenko Mr. Joseph Amahona Mintion also on the budget statement. Baba? Yeah.
I'm opposition to now because I last time.
Oh, micro minority.
Oine casa.
Baba.
Micro minority. Manga sante. Oh, what we just say budget here. Abai fufu kinkai to the Minister of Finance. Budget here. It means muda hokama. Ena. So share be a tea budget in Bia in your time TA, almost will be in your time TA because to be very concise, point by point. We spend less time to finish reading the budget. Unlike other budgets, it will take 3 hours. They carry a room, no paper right now. We say, Nina knows that Nina near Ma. People build their on speculation. We can. Beyond here, but speculation play a key role in everything. We beat me here, they say now, perception. And our perception. They said they are we grade. It is a bit my yard, Papa. And our yard body. Say, many be already ground. Members of Papa, and last was here in it never be a obey Jinawa, obey Bia, any petty show. It meeting time ready budget ma obi anya wotre etie dodo no anya wotre tie na ohwe budget no am susu a dum se ni ba bretie nso na omote ase because na language nso no na enye language technical ways na wo form na enye bibiri technical ways ya kinka microphone tie ase which now is a technical ways kakri no so won't ase wo to be a meeting was. Now the good thing around the budget is say, okay, budget and also okay. A great transformation player who's a name to do be blue on more. I say, not a chess they took all our reviews. Commoner, Papa and Kodi and offer choose me could do offer seriously, sir. We never be rubbish if because baby Anna or cancer. They say it's a special capping. Capping of the get fund name. Not now name say okay. Not like oh, so I agree to say so capping of NHIS get fund any obey everyone. Now institutions any free access to funds you between their building or more areas. Which to me was very good. Uba so I just offer okay budget now. But Pia na cap we are more a year from so said no say over proper decentralization abasu in the assemblies now because Ghana assemblies are near running now. Let's centralize decentralization. Kaza Sibu na ya ka. Nanya discipline MPP pension. We started talking about this in the previous NDC government, they didn't listen. MPP came, they came to do worse. Now NDC has come back. They say, I want to say decentralization, a bit more. I don't know, me tia. Me na me team crew me see. Na auto TV ano apake na de abre be use ha. Na what me.
Okay.
Wa bra me na me wo ho no mu a, me nim TV kura me misuse me to a be boa me nkrofo. There must be that proper decentralization no a sika bia ye de hia assemblies no e be ko wo mu ho. Hwe nema dodo a wo mutotɔ ko assemblies nyina ni nyina free nkran na be wo. Wo ho na dia business wo ne atew. Tinkrafo na aju se hu sika wo magye de awie. Ne dia ba. Na wo na wo ba bebre ho semi na be tazo e ba sa so a sense ono no nya sika no de koto ya ade no beduru ndi ontene ne hwe ne ye ana se amfani nsem ana ma no koto ndi ontene ne hwe ne ndi ase oni accounting bia e wo so a ode ba be bu ho akonta no e jam sa na ade na se eno na ma isika bebre ase mebia isika hye kwa assembly beduru no na sika na hye ndi nya ade ba be bia mai. It is hard no or this can about 80% back. And I even think say it is too small. 100% in number because I'm assembly for no pay for no you school in California no. I mean tears is a crowd is over trunk and I feel it doesn't. We super that's too much. Stop. Na yem fa gidie show pia ya dia bia ten yem fa gidie show bia no ebeboa pa na ade ba ko so a ebeboa ene assemblymen no a omu na ye adwan kase pa omu boa MPs no mo ho no mo boa ankofo a omo grounds no no bibi sesi a dedi ka afre na assemblyman so it is a area bi to see as obi ehun akan na say assemblyman wo hen ya afre eno aso okọ onu a sika no de ko di bi o a omo brepa at least say o sha se na motivate you say na assemblyman say busumi bia unya 100 and 200 cities gra okunu say the aban eni aba no nti eno so ya de a mji say be boa pa na fe discipline measures be bria or dey ba yes bit me aboa omu agiatum say there's not much discipline in our expenditure. All those nema all shisha to make sure say or minus car cry one. You wait my shoes, you wait my boy. Or my was a debi yamaka. Dear ma yentimi any discipline be brain say as in your name and your baby, your name may be a free. Dear ma intimate show my. Of course, Singapore is you monocra. They don't have anything. But who could we are seeing now who whisk up our man whisk up our come? They use here. Yeah, Hessens in your Bibiaqua, a high TCC, then we see a 2 that we same 2 weeks. You have only be through. 1 man crime and see the next 2 months we want to a ball high about it. It is a never free. It is a mind, even stretch your mind. And yet other things. It's not helping us. This is the time one. It says you say, baby, I've been to your house.
We know all this. See any meaning now. And to the end, a buying, and then a see a quantity hint to be your son name because leadership. That is all.
Leadership. Because leadership is very important.
All regimes require method. They are in best shaman. Yet this so strictly
leadership. What has it? Sir, leadership. Jomama president once wakono wasan about nti I say ade pa ko hia no pa ni din so beti me get dinner you bear reference to it yes you put there bon pesa din bi hwe ayi was starting ne busuanfo no kasa so bia mfa ni din konko ya de boni bia akoya wa you be held responsible yes ko anyway the president the woman Ben, don't go and use my name for anything. What do I say? It's a bit more say, oh, person call president office here. I'm telling you. With me, I reach. I go meeting or I don't check up. So what I say. Since I didn't know honor a year, a bit more respect in the system also abwa. Now, say me banner me ba honor and between a gate via and me remember. better na me met my that respect now. Me at my call that respect. And now me nkoya the fufurubia me ba wa meet me apa because me enough gate fit me everything they have. The other nyina betimi astem no the corrupt practices ni na. The name wa sha ase no awoye no. Ese nyina ebo man dey because o man dey ya. Ye nyina no dey. Ya dey wa kwa na nyina pa. O man dey ya and in fact nipa we dey no. The man dey ya ye nyina be dey. So see me as a businessman. Me could say there seems to be some kind of confidence in the system.
All right.
What do I say? People have become confident. They are ready to spend their money here. I've been traveling across the country for a few weeks here. About 2 weeks. I'm not around. And maybe I could be the testimony is that, oh, the city. That's what I'm saying. I mean, go be a Nipanian who be an American say, a beer, Nipanan. Say, if you can't always speculate, because speculation is part of the economy.
Just 2 months. So, economy, yes. Just 2 months.
Yes, because so we were deliberate policies are what they are there. Yes, I was said no one found. All right. Make deliberate policies. We give them to wait percent. Minimize inflation platform. Whatever programs and programs as a media, but me push inflation down. Food inflation platform one. It affects so many of the indicators. Bring them down. All right. And the deliberate policies no or more they bad. Woman yinaso. All right. Woman inside. Now no money in anything. All right. But I'm seeing something
positive.
Yes, positive.
Medasi. Mamemra Alhaji Ishak Chei Bobe. Oh, na Mintino on the budget statement. Alhaji.
Keodi.
Alhaji adi asembe ba.
Opposition kasala.
Bajo so vai come.
Opposition kasala senye. But Keodi. Enye the credit say budget no they call parliament no. We try betting tax.
Untwem.
Akora bia wo jubility bia ontie me ye.
Bajo na chewu ye na me.
Page number 41.
Okay. Of the budget statement.
With your permission I read.
Okay.
Mr. Speaker, we have abolished the 10% withholding tax on winnings from lottery.
Okay.
Otherwise known as the betting tax.
Okay. Semantics.
The evidence is very clear. And the evidence is that 10% withholding tax on lottery winnings. Anyhow.
Okay.
The whole betting tax and also a 10% betting tax.
Okay.
Okay. And yes, a proposal of even gaming tax as well is in the Tax Act.
Okay.
But what you're saying. But the 10% withholding tax on winning from lottery, you're implementing it.
The former finance minister koka betting tax nana.
Because a betting tax.
Okay.
Now we are NDC4 will put up an argument. Say a betting tax non worker. Now betting tax no come under the Income Tax Act.
Okay.
2023. Act 1093. Page 2 of the budget statement, which flows over to page 3. And someone waka and yema ye free ho the ye twem a homra a wodi to parliament ye nim amia yen sakraye Income Tax Act in count.
Okay.
Okay? Two things. Either say finance minister a young from so and no him not deliberate and now say obetu mfutro gu amamfo ani.
By looking at his caliber, his pedigree,
any
baby a wujina, obey some from so
and tina me kase say adie and from so die e wo wiase.
Okay.
Nyankopon kwa na enyam from so. Either say we yam from so. And now say any da home obey do but what you say anybody listening to me this evening I would a bet I to 10%. I was a finance minister at their co-parliament and that ye came nubiano unim yawoka. And I'm saying that make any counter argument. The next point I want to establish is very clear. Say usu chamudia any act na they bet 10% betting tax in the buy-in a income tax act 2023 act 10 I think 93 no. As I said, yeah, so anyone over parliament and what we're listening now. Anyone over Petroleum Management Act, as I said, call back to parliament. Infrastructure, Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund Act, as I said, call back to parliament. Minerals Income Investment Fund Act. And in Sakrayana and the budget need be burning in ano. What the consequential laws na a woman, as I say, you're not letting Sakrayan, ne koko yifri on. One fan to parliament any. And to what the other would jubilate to say, your chamwa, and not for fan your chamwana, and now say evidence must be, in the budget statement. That's my point number one. Number two, and it say, Yera, Nanado Dankwa Kufuado pencil, near say Nabana, you bloated. Just any power, baby.
Oh, hold on, Uncle betting tax.
Thank you.
Because page 66 of the way, he specifically made mention of the betting tax. Minim say if it has any.
And one media also on team as here. My establish two facts.
Two facts, okay.
Fact is that 1, 10% withholding tax on winnings from lottery is different.
All right.
And a 10% betting tax is different. What we come on? All
right.
Please, Meba. Oh, Mwame. Let me make my submission. If you have counter, you can make it.
All right.
But I don't want you to interrupt.
Don't need any help.
No, I don't need his help. Okay. I don't need your help. And tax in me, any the correct and what is otherwise known as.
Okay.
In terms of English, it is also very wrong.
All right.
Because ningina existed in our books. 10% withholding tax on winnings from lottery. It exists in the books.
Yeah.
Gaming tax exists in the books.
Okay.
I think that's supposed to be about 20%. And then 10% betting tax is also existing in our laws.
3 separate entities.
It's what to make us say this one otherwise known as this. Okay. That's even wrong. And you said was the a framework number 1 wrong. Number 2, we betting tax though a gaming commission and a regulator. What you need? And our friend is saying 10% withholding a gaming commission and 10% betting tax on this. That be with 10% better no withholding no lottery and a bay or friend is say it comes under Ministry of Finance. But what I say comes under Ministry of Finance because a National Lotteries Authority. What you say? And then we say no comes under Ministry of Interior.
Okay. Betting tax.
Yes.
Okay.
What you say? And CSE can't be a free or more regulatory Sani Manukran and also different.
All right.
So in terms of 10% withholding tax winnings from lottery being different, I have established it from several angles.
Right.
And to make us this otherwise known as that.
Okay.
10% withholding tax on winnings from lottery, you implement here. It's not in our books.
Yeah.
But what you say? There also we free one a 10% betting tax, which is all part of our income 2023. Our friend is saying income tax law. And I say act. But what you say? Enti a possible. If you see a finance minister benefit of the doubt, the American says he must come again.
Come clear.
Yeah, he must come again and come very clear.
Okay.
But what you say? And yes, I say, oh, honors you 10% betting tax everyone. I will jubilate here. It is not even in the act or the act of parliament. And say, yen sacremu ni intimi influ.
The boys say, omo this is omo try say.
Yo, and then anything here say o programming on beti. Then the next point I make, woman is a comachino, and they say, complain near the Kwabena Dankwa Akufo-Addo and say, oh, ne presidency, Scar woman, you know, when you some catwa. Now, 30 years, your friend is saying, the second coming of John, and I budget in your spending on Jubilee House. 11.3 billion Ghana cedis. And a year cost for running the presidency under John Dramani Mahama, His Excellency. The first year. Yeah. Dankwa Akufo-Addo 2024 year, na ye 8.5 billion Ghana cedis. Under the lean government, we are spending 11.3 billion. Under the so-called Dankwa Akufo-Addo's bloated government, we are spending 8.5 billion. But compensation alone, among for 2.7 billion under the lean government of John Dramani Mahama, His Excellency. Dankwa Akufo-Addo 2024, 327 million.
So how lean?
Yes.
How lean is the lean?
How lean is the lean? If it doesn't manifest in the finances, how lean is the lean? Communication. On my point, communication expert, communication consultant, communication advisor, and this is one. Communication, goods and services, which includes salaries and emoluments, 8 million Ghana cedis. And now capital expenditure, 70 million Ghana cedis. Under communication, 78 million Ghana cedis. Lean government.
They will tell you, sir, information affairs and department, anything communication in Ghana is under them. So if they are spending,
has it changed? Has it changed? And for me, the answer is no. Research. I am of the view that research is important. What is here? 70 million into research. But it takes me to another point. Women's Bank, 50 million. Women's Bank, and your presidency go. Yeah, they targeting mano. Bank a ye be diama mano monyeska dia ye mano. 50 million.
I think it doesn't even meet the threshold of the
50
requirement of the banking sector.
That's another very important point we need to examine. So no muka se omo be bank ama mano. Bank pain no omo kan ho asem. But so far as I'm concerned, won't mean train o manifesto no say bank. Now me catch them say savings and loans. Okay. Now me catch them say microfinance.
Okay. A bank is a bank.
Bank is a bank.
It must meet the requirement.
Either universal bank or development bank. Right. And this is women's development bank. Yes. And I can even throw away the concept of even universal bank. Okay. And when we come in the development banks, the minimum capital requirement is double.
Okay.
Look, I've taken my time to catch up with what friend is saying. Development bank. One more class 1 development bank, 800 million. One more class 2 development bank, 600 million. One more class 3 development bank, 300 million. One more class 4A development bank, both wholesale and retail, 1.2 billion. And then one more class 4B development bank, 800 million.
See, criteria no 15.
Now 50 million there. Now presidency communication requires 78 million. Presidency research requires 70 million. Women Development Bank 50 million. No, come on, NDC, let's get serious. Let us really get serious. Now, development, Women's Development Bank, in principle, bring to me Kazemitia. In my Japan. I know I do a full count. Anyhow. Okay? I'm using your platform to call on His Excellency, John Dramani Mahama to bring Sadinam Tamaklo to Ghana and making sure say we fancy wa them. Agbablosi ase e margetre ase. Ukra, I think 70 to 90 million. Yasi yanko chama mano what you china bosom spelele what Johnny also question ho yare ona ho mae na sikana ma mini wi na ya jeli na wo ho na wonya medam no kra say sikana don so che 50 million Ghana cedis so wo yo ba na wo gina we so to aba can we say won say form it's a fact. Because the issue is that let us even understand what kind of development bank for women and on person deba. Enyan headquarters ewo enkrana. Na enyan regional banks ana. And sani yesadi biya district level ana. 50 million, that's a joke. They've got to be serious. And make sure they take women serious. After all, one of what deliver first female or friend is saying vice president for this country. My next point I want to make on the budget is the issue of the big push. Big push. Big push, now our manifesto promise $10 billion. $10 billion. Big push. Yanunti, to implement big push. Or divide it 10 by 4. Semimas in Kakra, or mass teacher, collaborate and near friend. And yet $2.5 billion. And I'm a now, the Awadiasha budget is $800 million. $800 million.
Far below.
Not even $1 billion. Because $1 billion would have given us about 15.5 billion Ghana cedis of 16 billion Ghana cedis. Please,
this year
that's why I need. That is why me in opposition, I need to put them on their toes.
Okay.
But what you say? Look, when we are talking about, our friend is saying, manifesto and manifesto promise, and how are you but delivers our promise? We've got to be serious. Share abaye kotu ye. One more TNC Bonti and Koto, they are over 7 million. 7 million. And when your phone somewhere, you can't you have a transfer near the panel. You need to the microphone trouble. What I say? Let me give you some additional statistics. Now, what I'm say 800 million. And about 13 point something billion, not even 15 billion. They are showing budget to know. They are not addressing any big push.
They are not addressing.
They should take the big influence. Pushing the grounds and you pushing so. They are just trying to see if they can construct some roads.
Small touch.
But George said, look, reports that I read, FSA, Ghana infrastructure, road infrastructure deficit, Sikaye here and Sanad close gap with the Western world. Okay, it's about $111 billion. That's how much we need.
$111 billion.
Yes, that's how much we need. The entire Africa needs about 7 trillion road infrastructure. Ghana Ministry of Roads and Highways, one more financing gap. Just guy yanka fibia nenka ekeka de spending ho etimi amaya timi affix road. It's about 20 billion. 20 billion per annum annual financing gap I want to know. Now in the next 25 years Senkiasi spend not less than 7.5% of yenye GDP. Professor, you can't if I GDP na GDP cry a base $76 billion cry. Near calculate or friend say 7.55. That is how we need in the next 25 years to fix our roads. John Dramani Mahama, His Excellency, second coming big push. It doesn't do any road, whatsoever. Let me end with this point. CFA bitumen surface. Yes, quota. Na yede abono aguso no gravel one no. A cost between 450,000 Ghana cedis per kilometer to $450,000 to $600,000 1 kilometer. 1 kilometer. Now the asphalt 1 kilometer 1.2 million, between 1.2 million and 1.5 million dollars. Now say your asphalt near a dual carriageway 1 kilometer hovers between 2 million to 2.5 million. Just oppose this facts and figures
Against the big push.
with $800 million big push, and tell me whether it's big push or small push.
Thank you very much. I know Alaji Shak Chefro Bay. Good evening, KOD. I'm Solomon Jagri from Kusu. 24-hour economy is possible. Ghanaians are patiently waiting for it. For the minority, have nothing to say. They are noise polluters. Okay. Ali phobia or Boasi Tutuka. I say there's no need for John Dramani Mahama to do changes in the security services. Such change will worsen the problems of this country. And also a dear and unknown. Teacher Kuju Tepa Enyina Susu. I say those police officers who want the status quo to remain so that they can continue. Okay, let me read this one. The NDC budget allocated 11.3 billion cedis to the presidency, and the question is, how can a country that the NPP have destroyed and termed as a crime scene, come up with such a huge amount? By the way, under the NPP, the presidency was allocated 8.5 billion cedis, which the NDC told Ghanaians that Nanado is wasting our sacred resources. So what about Mahama and his lean government? Asem Sebe, I can't answer that one. Let me take this one too. He said, we are not serious because it looks as if we are joking in this country. This country has no future because our leaders, especially the current one, thinks only about their party's stomach and elections. Kwame Takwa and Oduwe Abraham Kyodi asked Professor after budget, former finance minister said MPP didn't implement betting tax. I need his thoughts from Kobi Asen Praso. And also good evening, KOD. Changing of IGPs in every regime is a serious security threat to the country. The nation should take a serious step about it. And Bill Mark from Afuakun, Bill Yadasi, Abraham Ewa Aguna, and so Edibi Abraham say, good evening, KOD. Long time, Alaji Shad will be. Please don't let us assume that this budget is coming to save Ghana. What will happen if a disaster like COVID strikes? What will this government do? Is our economy resilient? I see the budget as if, all things being equal, we are living in this world with probability. Every government has good intention, but what is the end result? Danger is looming. We may pray hard. Trump is cutting U.S. aid and the national community aid to Africa is dwindling. Our finances are always dictated from outside. Okay, Abraham, there or they are bringing and enumerate and no. We Kwame Fosu, Achuma Boko, Abotan, so ADM and NDC removal of the former IDP is not his incompetence. It's not because of his competence, but because of his first name. Oh, Sabo. Anyway, Obia, Abbas Abogobu, our friends, so. I say, good evening, Mr. Host. This is the best budget ever. It has relieved all the burdens on Ghanaians. We can even see that the whole country is in good mood. Mahama has started very well. We pray that he continues like that. Never again should we vote for a wicked government like a Kufuado, Baumia government. Anyway, oh dear, I don't know. Good evening. I think the NPP man in the studio is not well informed of budget reading. He admitted it could be a mistake on the finance minister. Why then prophesize doom for Ghanaian jubilations? What moral grounds are they even trying to criticize the NDC? Please, he is misinforming the general public. Awilu Atito Lawrence, Vice Chairman GPRTU, who, okay, the way Evangelist Abel can come with the teacher Bonti. I was on touch of us. Good evening. I said NDC regime is the same as NPP. They must give us a break. Big ups to Chief okay, and also Edia Ode Abre, no. So I hope tell Mr. Ishak to talk about e-levy also because we're complaining during implementation, but they said they are in power, so he can talk and talk. We show them where power lies from Sapia Asing for Sue and Odigwe Abba. Right, let's go to our second round. Time no. Just about some few weeks here.
Budget, page 66. Now 36 plus 3. No, that's number. No, council. We have committed to scrapping the betting inverted commerce. No, bracket winning tax. We have delivered. When him say different from the now.
So what church won't be?
We will say we will become.
I'm making me. I want to make a reference.
We have committed to scrapping the betting tax. We have delivered.
Okay.
Anyway,
let's wait and see whether actually.
Act or no.
Anyway,
we have committed to scrapping e-levy. We have delivered.
Anyway,
we have cut several things.
All right.
Why do you think?
I think where Mr. Ishak is coming from, they say reading it is different from taking it to Parliament for the necessary steps.
Let's see what comes out. We did a
not what comes out. Let us excuse me to say, let us get serious. We are scrutinizing a public document. What we are saying is that one was my plan to make a submission. And I made sure I say, as someone you can near to tell you one. Yen shall pour a is here. Me see, who tried you? Emra, who watch share page 2, page 3. Says I'm way. Budget yammy becking can and near my Mikasa medin sacre mu air penning in a made your home rare bremus and moon shasu namu yes sacrena yes ye flew on yen flew yes ye one for income tax act. That's my point.
Anyway, Sugar Mamitio.
Kewodi Wadaroma MPP for Kewodi Ena Omanyo Omadwin say Suku dan no Omonkwa no mkotene mu Kewodi Suku dan no ye ni omo an tena the various classrooms lecture halls Kewodi betting tax ya ye ka ho asemi Babruna wati fie una wo hwe dwumadie kese wonim se betting tax no aye to ben 10% na abribia mote abribia se wo mutwa bet na ya mote no eno ho asem na yeka wei enye brofo bi na yenkohwe na mechichem aye miensa anya road a friend say betting act ehun sem ka kese bebre Adie no ni na ne say mo the betting tax e buy e bebru no etwa beta mo 10%. Wo mo wini a ke odi me ba o wo mo wini a na mo age mo 10%. O mo lusu a mo hwe. Ebra bi eye September eye 2023 GR Ghana Revenue Authority o say o mo nya 15 million e was a betting sa atuo ya modi abagu aye modi abagu mebru no so no ye twa beta wo mu eti no o mo nya 15 million now so they were projecting 60 million ke wodi na eni ha ana ye say sa atuo no
mo be yefu
ye promise Ghana for say ye be yefi ho budget na ye de aba no ewom aya former finance minister MPP was say the mo canon po de eno po ye kai so yanye e ho na mabru no etugu abonten so na we Shatawale kra so e dia yenwum kewodi Shatawale so otieme na enwumre ya wo dia yenwum ase ade no mpo se sia se ye wo football season mabru no wo mu twa na eti no mo de o mu receipt no mpo e kire that issue about a 3 components and a lottery and who can aba bebre no eno no efrifa de ye nima ne say mo se betting tax 10% mate Mwajiji Ghana for Maji Mebruno sa the issue about say oh muma yanko pe ambiyanse dan treche mu kwa mi so enye djuma ne enye djuma kira betting tax no mwaji aji ana ye say ye ba ye betwem ya mi adom ke odi wadaroma any diem road fund me ka ama Ghana for Maji bre 80 say unu say ye say your on capo a road fund now share allocation na they call for road maintenance at 2.81 billion 2.81 billion no a year 155.5% increment of a year the MPP 4 allocated year a year 2024 which was 1.1 billion no for a shark or to make cookie a year figures be now and the big push a small push and no konyaba obi a waje bre ewo adwumrei obi a waje bre nmi a wo hwe bi enim say anything about infrastructure you cannot measure infrastructure in Ghana na unyi His Excellency John Dramani Mohammed every National Women's Bank na dey buy medin kaka ye dey show say a seed fund all right a seed fund 50 million no a seed fund ye ko yenim no eniema ebesesa in a national misi form no kewodi eni die mu budget no ye expenditure as compared to 2024 there medika aka ho asem afiwe expenditure 269.1 billion 2024 279 so they should tell you say send your purpose so mo exaggerate niema no purpose so nyina no ye de niema e ba form amatimamufuo no ehun etimi ato that is what you should be discussing
yes me message say especially politicians no they should keep their eye on the ball so sa kasa na kan fa ho nyina no ene yeguso aye kan me nu atoko mokola o see in 3 weeks area ba kwa no ne kasa say na otwe miensa mu ani ade ano oto no 130 something no eko 170 something I'm say 330 move to 370 ema me nu atoko kasa sir all that say ya kasa ya sise VIP for say no kwese nya no kre transport first by 20%. Mestre Ghana had a quiet benina a betting tax. There were a lot of structural issues our system nimwa. If we focus our eyes on those ones, a benyan sun so war, mamia or kaya mamina to tiamui, any lorry fair, any microm was a few west as in Gregor area. The entire area is off as we speak now. The entire area. So those structural fundamental issues, no. Those ones have a no or man for no tom and how was sunny. A be a near edge which in and then you bring a betting that's any not test about say men can be for one finance minister, dear no. Much as Minia to forcing statement in the budget, no. Not any first mistake a crab or bar second time call parliament, no. Or clarify so na former finance minister Adam so no that statement no so no say flood so be crap ho achew say
maybe any sika
Boma o kan pe baby central abepa ho achew nti test and pacho first speaker no the finance minister at forcing aid if he meant betting tax then he wouldn't have said otherwise known as until we clarified the value. Samson and Adam so there no so he also aired. Shatawale the no businessman. Okay, yeah, to creative fine at the SM for life. You know, that is the clarification. But let's keep our eyes on the ball. That is what that's the most important thing. IGP, with a quick one,
just about 3-4 minutes.
It's fantastic, Medasi. IGP Dampare Wabeyebi. Yemanimo kakra no so betime aye de abo mangana no be ye de bo aye no. Me nyesure say ne so nipa se ne anepani ni mfie ni understanding life se ne wafam no ade we ye na de manwa bia sebe obi anko wa ama the penny for cry say Obakra na ko na so nkwaji oni so henti coming and going
normal
normal
that's an idea because he's been one of the youngest ever IGP most of them are banning in
no they call retirement near day in fact now OTT police for now I'm a friend to the police many of them it been on 4 different allegations let me say allegations it been on the first thing a man for binum fam penasem the fact that a certain unit be and now police fund move from Dampare boys yes you when they invade an area upon instruction say be a munko be then they disregard the mumfa structures in Yashri because how would the command the free head office never and to say be a rawu area no be who district commander or no abona they also police is a hierarchical organization where you can't jump command 1 and go to command 10 near the that one a man for a problem and then the one me just say me offer tete yonu ate we just say we seeing something different from no me repeat yes say be do your share say no we do how so nantie ye we just say take note if the allegation is true tete yonu take note second allegation na man for no one say promotion no them sort of training na say o ma promotion ne ma wa no ebinum kra say omudie kra de etna so ema obi o free timi be sign ne ho promotionally say ye no kra sabe also dey too ho for me of a Christian tete yo nu odi be too ho for baby adene da no wan fan to e free to ni pe o promote na ye metew sika so na e dey akotua no sometimes I don't get it senior me confess be my promotion be delayed for about a year and the excuses were just unbelievable and so ni pay kwa nye salary sin e ba beti dia go to ya o inti man ko when it is time let them go the other time they as well okay fine inti no allegation 1 allegation 2 or so ever no ni ekosi ya na say nemra so wasom okọ ye bema ye ofatete ye hunu akwaba police no sabe oba abaji udi na okọ o meye bi na onu so nya din pa enfama omangana the fear ne say we take commentary na say no creator in Romania Jerry so obebo me ahead say Mutar Bawa Minyaba lawyer Mutar Bawa say Mahama needed somebody who will be loyal to him. That should not be the mentality going forward.
All right. Sugar, I'm with you. Briefly, just briefly. Now.
Kewodi. Wadaroma. Matese bi mo eka se. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama asake ye IGP. Ye Dampare. Eni diemo. Yen sake no. Ye replace no. Eti Ghana for and that's what more magibre mo hwe na nwumre yen sacking is a very strong word na you replace no na djuma no maybe you say won ko is say o yesi wo pi den ekufu Dampare okay enti yen pam no fe onkodi ne djumedi adaroma enti yen pam no enti de meka ne say eye senior His Excellency Eddie Tudjano, former IGP Kufu Dampare, Bayadi, Abu Ejuma. Say, Tama His Excellency Kasano Su, was some de man na Bema Bayebi, one bed, na. Into Waba bed at least, you buy a crown and say 3 months, Muna, Yokoi. You buy a mano. In fact, with DIGP ne kakra. Exactly. Send an ebi mo kase wo na den dia mo ba ya da bi. Na ye mu bi sene ye Martin Kwebu ekae no. Na ye nim se bi e be ko be 1 year bi. Na ya hwe enema kakra bi. Because Kufu Dampare no, he has very exceptional qualities. Obi abeka se wabo ejuma. Wabo ejuma yi. Enti papa yi a oba be replace ni, a meka ho asemi. Papa no utie nkomo a ewa abonte otumu se ono no ana na edru ne so ono be wa be IGP ana Dampare dampare farm president Kufuor ego fa dampare ebae nti yesu ahwehwe mu no na ese wo say enye ne kwan so
reset no
exactly nti resetting Ghana na ye reset bebia no wo say papa no on the womra no medi ne IGP na sene eye prof ekae no if we say you replace no nse mebre na ba abonten even when last year mu okra no who engage police for ni bia in some year kasisi no that was what they were saying promotion and a delay obi how say in fact we ebeto no nanso eye IGP wotumi ono won nkrofobia wo push wo promote you at the expense of omoa wo hwa system na ngasa wo say you promote wo mu nti na issues no eya ados ba say ne tiwe de enim say ewiase de wonya ni na den all right pepepe all right despite sansem na ewo nyina no ye beka say obo adwuma
Kewodi, Mr. Professor say obviously finance ministers, the former and the present, but I have still not seen, and I still stand by my words. Say, Income Tax Act 2023, Act 1093, no a betting tax the buy. So on Fankoya on Fian Sunyading and Kahonko. Na fi emabunu a womu tie no se wosi afidie wo de ho nhihye na to akwam wo twam a na omo ne o yadwene na eyeye samre die enye nro bake odi seed money 50 million private schools say ye campaign here say ye be ma ye don be ka free SHS oti
or say sector ministers in the bar now or more detail, more details have to. But I take a hint from the
important policy announcement in your manifesto. Now the workers will be protecting free SHS, nursing and teacher training allowance, 100 level 100 fees, no. Workers what they want na private schools in the end, work the end, yes sir. Okay, I feel no 20% rural allowance what they bet you my teacher for. So what charge you crazy? So obiti crazy or no or teacher near or kotua say obenya 20% rural allowance. Yeah, no so one can once. What you say? Damn parody. Damn parody. You're sacking. Damn parody. You're sacking the fans one. Then you pass some money do 1 week. Then you pass some money do 1 week.
The first one no bet no I give working yakwe. If to be honest with me, young millionaire we are or in this area.
Betting.
I'm talking about betting lottery and Umucha. Your friend Gambo fallacy. Yeah. Gambo fallacy. When you go trap, you go trap. In an issue, what bomb would say, be an unknown trap. Young will be our out, say, or Nemo millionaire. Tieni among clan of the moon, whether taxing that's on our taxing us. Moon Shanna Munuma. Namusia be a meeting a very important
Mirage.
Gambo fallacy. Now, Alan, a Casimbi,
and you're dangerous. Is it not dangerous?
That's it. Was he amending some constitutional
amendment of Article 70, 190, 195, 202, 202?
Yes, second chamber, and no better part of the year. Women participate the approval and appointment of independent constitutional bodies. So the woman I was asked to know almost I know them one, ye sangrofona. And woman by neutral and made too political.
A buying means a woman.
A buying shed and means a woman. They made too political. And Casa did their bang in because security holiday. And this year did the be our because woman say horse sake and now we are at risk. And the best say, you're making sure the Sanya Mano are too political. As say secret network, independent constitutional bodies. It's not helping the nation. Dear moi, the young, where they are.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Meda Alaji Shakchi Brubea say no matter
Okay, original communications team no, my senior most no, and then the birthday. It's Ofata and Ofata birthday.
Happy birthday, and come on. But up of as Wasapon, I say, no matter Jerry James Suka, and I say, Era, Joseph, Amwa, I see, Amwa, Nebakanwa, and Democracy Jumediano, a Brekan say, Jumediano Malamaya, and I share the bro. Godfred, Agent Cameron, Echi, Afe, directors, and this sound, on Anakwame Sunday, or more a train, the sound, a brem. Mom sending messages. The kind the Intimian Kanyano, Nina boy Jumediano, we did the Kwabena Owusu Dankwa, sorry. Yamea Duma, your best share and repem. Bye bye.